The call is coming from the wrong quarters. So I can't support it when it comes from the wrong quarters. We have an armed force that's been in existence for how many years? Since independence, right? If the armed forces or the security agencies sit down, review their work, and thoroughly come up with a research paper and says they think that for the recruits, an age limit that exists can be reviewed upwards. That is a professional work coming from the technocrats and people who understand why there has to be an age limit for recruits and why the age limit has been placed there and why they think there has to be a change for now. But so long as it's not coming from the technocrats, the professionals, people who understand what the institution is about and what is required, but it's coming from politicians, there's no way I will back that. And as my own MP has said, he's making the call because his constituents says they want to join the army, but the age limit is disqualifying them. I don't think that should be the basis for anybody to call for a review. If not, somebody will be at 70 years and say, I also want to join the army. That has been my long-held dream. And therefore, the age limit should be reviewed to 70, that so he or she can join the army. Because in education, somebody can be 70 years and go to the university and say, all my life I wanted to have a PhD, and I think this is the right time to do it. But in the military, in the security services, there is reason for everything that they do. They have reason for everything. So the age limit has cogent reasons. And therefore, if the people who are running the system do not see the need to change it, politicians suggesting change simply because their supporters want jobs. The jobs are not there. But the security services seems to be ready for recruitment, and therefore they want to use that avenue. It should never be the reason why anybody should review anything. So for me, we should just throw it out because it lacks any merit. It lacks any merit. We have a Ministry of Interior. We have a Ministry for Defense. Okay? The Ministry of Interior is in charge of immigration, national service, the police, and then the defense is in charge of the Ghana Armed Forces. If the heads of these institutions sit down and write a proposal, they are sector ministers and says, we've done A, B, C, D. We think that for reasons A, B, C, D, the existing age limit can be reviewed up, and they provide their reasons. I believe that it will be an easier thing to do because it's coming from the professionals who are in charge. But where a politician thinks that my people need jobs, there's no job in Ghana. We also promised jobs. That's why they voted for us to come to power. And therefore, we must look at calling for a review of the entry requirement for recruits into the military so that we can get jobs for our people. I don't think it's the reason why anybody should even consider that proposal. So we should be clear. We are building a country. So we should do what is in the interest of the country. We shouldn't do what is the interest of a few people because they want jobs. We must understand that. So as I said, every country have different age limits for military. Me, myself, sometimes I ask myself, I see Ghanaians who travel abroad, and by the recruit age in Ghana, you know that they are more than that. But then they go abroad and they get recruited into various armies around the world. And I ask myself, how come that if they were in Ghana, they wouldn't have been recruited, but they go to other countries and then they get recruited? In the US, for example, they call something reserves. You are recruited and you are not even in any camp, or you are in your home. They say when there is a need, an emergency, they will call you. So they train you as they recruit you, train you, give you all the training. Anytime they need you for training, they will call you and give you additional training. But you are not actually serving. They call them reserves. But when the American government needs you, if there's any emergency, then they can call upon you. And once you are home as a recruit, do your own thing. You are getting paid, though. You are getting paid. But they believe that in their mind, there may be a time that the needs for army may exceed the official and normal army that they see. And they may need the support of citizens. But if the person is not trained and have a certain skills, the person cannot help. So in the US Army, they tell they are reserves. And Resford, Nia, the way he was approached, and they have contractors who are just go around recruiting people. You don't have to. You will be there, and somebody will be there. So are you interested in going to the army? This, if you go to the US, and even you don't have a document, your visa has expired. If you agree to join the army, they will give you all the documents so long as you join. And I know some guys that I went to US and they are all in the Navy and the Army, right? Simply because they decided to join. So every country looks at their needs and then they act upon it. So for me, we should let it rest. If the security heads, institutions, based on empirical evidence, come up and say, we think that it's about time we do some review. These are the exigencies of the time. And we think that if we do a review to this level, it will help. That I'll buy. But this idea of people who are calling from constituencies, it's normal. And see, we should understand that MPs sometimes are under pressure to make those statements because if you don't say it, it means that you have not voiced out their concerns. So they'll come up and make the statement because they want their constituents to know that what you've told me, I've also told the government, I've told the people of Ghana that this is what people are saying. Then it doesn't look like he didn't act on their concerns. Because if you do that, you are likely to lose your vote. Because if your people say, this is what we want, and they did not hear anything from you, there's trouble. That's why bank benches in parliament always suffer. Because they say, but we don't hear you in parliament talking about our needs. We're always sitting there. We see some few other MPs always advocating for their people. We will vote you out. You understand it? And it's true. They are our representatives. They are representing us. So if we have concerns, it's their business to put it in the public. So they've done their job by putting out that this is what our constituents are asking for. I think it is left for the Interior Ministry, the Defense Ministry, security heads in charge of these institutions to look into it and ask themselves, is it time for Ghana to review the recruitment age for recruits? If it is time, if there are valid reasons, we can go with it. But if there are no valid reasons, we think that, oh, this is purely a political thing and that the people think they voted for their MP and therefore they are looking for a jobs. Their MP knows that there's no job. And the only way the MP feels that there can be some job is if the age limit is raised. He can get some few people from the constituency and push them to these services for which reason is making the call. So the MP has done his job. But we shouldn't take it serious until the people in charge of security services come up with empirical evidence to say that if we review the age at this point, it's good. We say we are expanding our army and the rest. I've spoken to some people say, look, it's like almost all peacekeeping operations are coming to an end around the world. So now a lot of Ghanaian soldiers who regularly go on peacekeeping, now there's no opportunity to go to peacekeeping.
The UN is reducing forces in Sudan and Lebanon.
Several, in fact, as Lebanon, I think they're actually closing. And so many other places where we have a lot of our people go regularly. Now, there seems to be some peace in some of those regions. So even if you recruit more, the question is, the UN peacekeeping, which is one of the avenues that we are using to get these people, it's like we are no longer having a lot of opportunities there. So we should be mindful making these calls because, see, all these people we want to be recruited, if the age limit is even lifted today, it brings a burden to the public purse. And the public purse, we know the situation. And therefore, we don't need to say that because people want it, we want to increase the public purse. It will come and hurt all of us because the money that will be there to do roads in the same person's constituency or provide water for that constituency or something may now have to be used to pay salaries because we have increased the numbers.
And already the public wage bill
is already struggling.
Very well. Very well, Elvis. Prince from Elembele says, height shouldn't determine one's ability to serve and protect. Let's focus on skills, training, and dedication rather than hits kill in schools in America. And he says, good morning to you, Elvis. If there's no ulterior motive, why should we consider raising the recruitment age for the Army to 35? Is it because we don't receive enough applications at the current age? What's striking about this proposal is that it didn't come from the military professionals, but rather from an MP's constituents. It's time for us to take a serious approach to governance in this country. Amino from Nsawam. Good morning to you guys. The NPP man is not in Ghana at the moment. They will continue to stay in opposition for a very long time. We are calling for the age limit to be 30 and not 25. Ken from Paga. Well, Ken, your MPs are saying that they want it raised to 35. Good morning. The problem is that by the time you are even done with university, you are above 24 years. And I can say with all authority that a lot of the officers have been recruited, who have been recruited are above 25 years. Please tell Mr. Elvis Darko that in the Army recruitment process, nothing has been done fairly. I have a lot of officers' friends who got recruited as officers when they were 32 years. UK, USA, and other developed countries we borrow from do not even do
And the
this.
person understand that recruitment for the officer has a different age limit.
True.
Recruits have different age limits.
limits.
Professionals like nurses and doctors, they have different age limits. So it is not one age for all.
Yeah.
So if you see somebody complete university and becomes an officer, it's not a recruit. The person is not as a recruit. So the age limit is different. If you see a nurse or somebody completing medical school is 30 years and works at 37 and is a soldier, it's not the same as recruit. So people should know that the age limits for different categories differ. True. I also used to have the argument about the height. But when you talk to the officer, they say they are not saying intelligence doesn't matter. After recruitment, they look for the people who have the capacity to do it. That's why they have military intelligence. Yeah. People don't know that the military actually didn't have a unit purposely for intelligence because they don't talk much about it.
True.
So nobody says that in the army it's all about buga buga. There's a whole unit for intelligence. So if you're academically brilliant and they feel that you can be useful, they will recruit you because they have seen a certain trait that is going to help. So I think that maybe the military doesn't talk much, so they don't explain a lot of these things to the public. So most people are under the guise that there's only one age limit. And truth is that because the officers are not many, most of us have only recruits in our family. So we are only knowledgeable about one age of recruitment. We don't even know that there are different ages for recruitment in the army. So maybe it's time for the Ghana Armed Forces to actually come out and do also a lot of education about why height matters, why age matters. I think this offers that opportunity for them to do that education.
Right.